Hey there, Max here, how is it going? So following the video I made on Gmove, some people sent me links to other videos that are quite red pill videos that go around the Manosphere. Let's see if there is something interesting to find in there. There is a lot of hate, there is a lot of anger that some guys feel towards women, and that translates somehow into the red pill stuff that you can find everywhere on YouTube. So when I looked at those videos, I was like, okay, why not? I'm not that much of a red pill guy or black pill or rainbow pill, whatever color floats your boat. So personally, I always have been a little bit outside of this, and in that regard I consider myself to be a little bit pure, because I was mostly learning from some of the occasional RSD video back in the days, and from my personal experience going out and talking to girls, and from the occasional books that I would read each month. I think I'm a very practical guy, and my main concern when I see a girl that I like is how do I get with that girl? How do I communicate effectively to this girl that I am actually an attractive guy, and how do I make sure that she wants to sleep with me and that we end up sleeping together? I don't care much about whether or not I will have the power in the relationship. I don't care much about whether or not men have it fair in dating and in a relationship. I'm just focused on what works. If I see a hot girl, how do I get with this hot girl? So for example, there is a hot girl at the club. Okay, how do I get with that hot girl? I don't have enough matches on Tinder. Okay, how do I get more matches on Tinder? I don't get sex on a first date. Well, alright, I will look at how I can get more sex on first dates. But hey, for you, for science, let's dive deep into the YouTube Manosphere. Okay, so first there is this guy, and his name is Clarey. Most of his videos are snippets from the book that he wrote, but he also makes videos that are more of a podcast style. Let's have a look at those.
If you were looking for a guy and you're not a young chicken anymore, yeah, if you want to start securing the men, big boobs, yep, that's how it works. And you'll be more sought after than girls with the little boobs. And it's one of the first things a guy can have said, like, oh, hey, look at that.
I don't know any guy who is genuinely more attracted to small tits than he would be attracted to big tits. Like, I know too big can be too big, even though that's arguably true. But I don't know any guy who's gonna be like, oh, I like girls with flat tits. Looks are the #1 factor that's determining of the kind of guy you're gonna get with when you're a woman. Girls who focus on their personalities and girls who focus on being nice and being fun are usually girls that are not too pretty, and they try to compete, well, by being nice and by being friendly and by being funny, but it's most of the time girls that are not very hot. That's also why, in my opinion, when you see pretty girls, they usually don't have much else going on for them, because they play to their strength. They optimized their looks because, well, that's what works the best for guys.
You're a smaller gal, so I guess C would be fine. The good old... See, I like big boobs, though, so I'm all like, yeah, triple quad DFs, whatever that is.
I've been with an Italian girl, and her tits were huge. Like, she was not even that tall, but she was like F cup or G cup or whatever comes after. I've never seen that before, and by that point it was honestly too big. Like, you don't know where to put your hands and you don't know what to do with those. But most of the time, I agree, bigger is better. So far, I like what he says. Let's try to look for something a little bit more red pill. So in this video, he's answering to the question of a guy who is in his mid-20s and who is afraid to, well, miss on the best years of his life because he doesn't have much success with women.
I do believe that men should not waste their time chasing girls to the level you do. You should not put women #1 in your life, especially in your 20s, because you're still getting by. You're still trying to figure out who you are and where you are in the world.
Yeah, there I quite agree with him. If you are between 20 and 30 years old, you should not look for a stable relationship. You should look for experiments. You should look for experiences. You should look for basically what you want, because if you're like most guys at this age, you don't know yet what you want, and you're gonna figure out what you want by getting experiences. Really, you should get away from this model of, okay, finish school, find a girlfriend, get married, settle down, have kids. If you do this, you're gonna divorce by the time you're 45, 50, probably earlier than that. The numbers don't lie. You have 50% chance to divorce if you get married early. In my opinion, that's mainly due to the fact that people get in stable relationships young because they feel like they have to. They have no idea what the fuck they are doing. Get experience, have fun, experiment, date 5 girls at the same time if you want, until you figure out exactly what you want.
Big difference between the power that women have in their 20s and the power you have when you're in your 20s is drastically different. Right? It will not be until you're in your 30s making money and stable will you have the cachet women are looking for. And girls in their 20s are at their peak beauty, and so they have their peak power. And it is not worth putting a group of people with such a lopsided power advantage over you at the center of your life. You're just going to be taken advantage of. You're not going to have that much success. It's not saying you won't fall in love or find a girl or anything like that, but it's statistically unlikely.
Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with what he says there, but that's gonna be my main critique when it comes to red pill and men going their own way. Why would you care about power struggles? That's really the main problem I have with this whole ideology. Why do you care? It's a nice thing to understand what's going on and to understand how it works. But then, once you understand, do what you need to do, take action and get results. There is no point dwelling for so long on stuff that you can't change. Like, this is life. Okay, girls have it easier between 20 to 30 and guys don't. All right, okay, you know it, now what? Complaining about it, it's not gonna help you. Complaining about the results that you don't get is not gonna get you more results. There are clear things that you can do, and that's what I think most guys should focus on, instead of going all red pill, black pill, and just becoming dark, depressed losers who just focus on what they can't have instead of focusing on what they can change to get better. That's funny because that's often how you can make the difference between a guy who knows a lot of seduction theory and a guy who's going out. A guy who's going out and approaching a ton of girls is never gonna waste time complaining about how girls have it easier. But a guy who's a keyboard warrior who spends his time, well, arguing with other people about seduction theory instead of getting laid, is gonna be complacent in this, and that's really not useful to you, and you really don't want to be doing that. You want to be taking a lot of action, going out, of course, understanding how, well, women interact with women and how women interact with men and what each is looking for in the other party. But once you understand that, you move on and you take this knowledge into practice. A lot of guys, they learn this, they discover this, and instead of becoming better with girls, they become bitter. I made a video that explains why you don't want to be this kind of dark, depressed loser victim, because this is really not the direction you want to go to. Instead of going up and understanding and using this knowledge to get better with girls, you're gonna go down, become dark, depressed, and basically become a knowledgeable incel. Again, you don't want that. So understand how relationships work, understand how dating work, and then focus on what you can do better to get better results.
I do think that you should use your 20s to date. I mean, why not? Get out there, ask girls out, get over, approach anxiety, stop being a pussy, go to the gym. This is where you start off, and it's like working out or becoming a soldier or something. You're gonna suck at first, you're not know what you're doing. But like anything else, you got to work at it. To become a good sparrer in a martial arts, you have to spar. And to become good with girls, you got to ask them out. You got to fail.
Yup, I couldn't have said that better. If you want to get better results with girls, you have to take a ton of action, you have to go out, you have to practice, you have to try, you have to fail, and eventually you build on top of your failures and you get experience and you get better. Nice stuff there overall, not bad. Okay, so the next one is a video from someone who's apparently in the opposite camp compared to the guy before. I'm not sure what that means because I've never watched those guys before. So that's what the guy who sent me the link to this video said, and after watching a few of the videos that are on this channel, I just couldn't stand it anymore. Like, I tried to stay objective, but damn, that's hard sometimes. That's hard. The problem that I have with most of what's explained in those videos on this channel is that most of it could be associated to entitled kids who are angry when they don't get what they want and when they don't get people to act the way they want them to act, all the while hiding behind the fact that this is the true behavior of an alpha male. As if being an alpha male meant being able to force people to do what they don't want to do. Apparently an alpha male is a huge bitch who's able to force people to do what they don't want to do and who gets mad and angry when they don't get what they want. Again, that's my big issue with all that red pill and men going their own way. It's apparently this idea that you are supposed to be able to enforce your point of view over everybody else because you are right, and people who don't do what you want are necessarily wrong. Also, that anyone who's basically not a huge dick, anyone who's not a dictator cannot be an alpha male and is therefore a beta male. As if everything was all fucking white or all fucking black. Anyways, let's have a look at this video.
For most women, this is going to be a much better option than trying to get an advanced education when you're super young and super fertile, which then drops off a cliff exponentially, and other health markers, biomarkers along with it. Strength training, like Jay talked about, will actually help resolve a lot of these, or basically slow down the process of aging in a lot of very useful ways, for beauty, for your health, for your skin, for your muscles, for your bones as a woman too, but then also fertility and these other issues. But still, women should, if they want to build a family, do it as soon as you can, young, wifed up, knocked up, boom. Hopefully in that order.
So I don't necessarily disagree with that. That's quite right. Again, that girls have more chances to find a partner when they are young and when they are hot. And the older they get, the less hot they get. That's not a big surprise, and I quite agree with what he said there. The younger a woman is, the higher her social market value is, because the younger she is, the fitter she is, and the hotter she is. So when she gets older, she's gonna have a hard time fighting the competition of other young, hot, and fit girls. So that makes sense.
And I did talk about female happiness coming from women having a ton of sex with as much as they can with as few men as possible, but also comes from making cookies, sandwiches, and babies. I think this is a great thing.
That's a bold statement, right? So I know that women overall tend to go for roles in society that are overall traditionally assigned to women. Okay, that's a thing. That's a scientific fact. There is no denying it, and I'm very happy with it. I love a woman who can cook. The problem that I have with this is that trying to force women into those roles is bad. Like, why do you want to force people to do what you think they should do? If they want to do it, well, they will do it, right? Really, trying to force women in those traditionally feminine roles in society is plain stupid. Women should be able to be boys if they want, and I, as a man, should be allowed to dislike women that behave like boys. But they are allowed to do what the hell they want to do. And if I don't like it, that's my problem. I go to another girl who's gonna, well, suit me better. Again, I don't necessarily disagree with him and the attitude that some men have towards this. Again, I love a woman who can cook, and I love when a girl is taking care of me, of course. But who am I to force people to do something? Like, the point of seduction is to convince someone to do something that you want, and to convince them that they want to do it as well, not to freaking force them and coerce them to do it. That's the main problem that I have with this channel as a whole. Everything is either white or black, and there are no nuances. While real life, well, it's a bunch of nuances of gray, and you're not gonna go far if you go just with black or white. I don't want to get into the drama again, but some of his points are quite dishonest. He made a video with that Cobra Tate guy who was quite no bullshit guy, so let's listen to what they have to say.
Tell me about all these dating coaches in the Manosphere. These guys who, they say they're red pill alpha males, and then all they do is fuck old fat women. So what do you think about these guys?
I'm trying to be politically correct.
Do you fuck any old fat women?
No, I do not. No. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in the Manosphere. There's a lot of guys who, I just think, let me be politically correct, semi-politically correct. I think everybody should just genuinely be looking to be as honest as possible as individuals. And I think a lot of the reason why they lie is because they feel like they wouldn't have a brand, or they wouldn't be able to say anything if they told the truth. And that might be true. Yeah.
So I quite agree with this guy when he says that you shouldn't lie and you should be honest, especially if you're teaching guys to get a skill. If you don't have this skill yourself, well, you're a fraud. And that's the problem that I have with this guy, because he made a 2 hours video with Jim Wolves interviewing him and explaining basically how to lie to girls.
My personal opinion on females, I was never trying to sleep with as many women as possible. That was never my goal.
Yeah, you're like 450, 500?
450, 500, yeah. But but I was never trying to get to that number, and I'm still not trying to get to 1,000.
Yeah.
I've always been trying to find the best woman I could find, or find the best women I could find.
And you're banging women in the course of living your life.
Yeah, I'm not out there in the mall thinking this is my sole goal of the day, right?
Yeah.
I really like what he says there, that you can go up to girls and try to meet girls, but it should not be like the sole focus of your day. Now it's interesting to nuance this a little bit as well. If you're trying to practice a skill, well, there is no shame into going out a few afternoons to go up to girls. I used to do that back in the day, and that helped me a lot. If you don't have time to dedicate to this every day and you want to get good at this fast, that's all right to spend afternoons to go practice a skill. Now, if you spend afternoons just to fill your life with girls because you have nothing else going on for you, obviously that's not the best.
But my goal was trying to find the best woman I can find, and if you're going to do that, you need to see a lot of women, right? If you have to find the best apple in the grocery store, you need to play with a lot of apples. You can't just go and just get this one, right? You got to take a bite out of a bunch of apples. I was only doing what I was doing to try and find the best possible woman for us to have a relationship, or the best possible 3 women for me to have relationships with. So I was never about the number. I was never about as many as possible. I was always about, I truly enjoy interactions with females that are absolutely positive. I enjoy having a woman who is completely devoted to me.
I really agree with what he says though. Big numbers don't mean shit if you are sleeping with girls that are annoying, fat, old and ugly. Big numbers for the sake of big numbers are useless. Big numbers just to impress people are useless. If you try to sleep with a lot of girls just to go up to your friends and tell them that you are able to sleep with many girls, what's the fucking point if you don't even enjoy being with those girls to begin with? If you are trying to sleep with a lot of girls to prove to other guys that you're worthy, something's seriously wrong with you. But hey, I go on a rant a little bit because on my previous video, many people asked me how many girls I slept with, and while I slept with quite a lot of girls, more than I'd like to admit, I don't think it makes me a better person. Like honestly, if I had slept with just 100 girls but all of them were Playboy models, I would actually prefer that. I would prefer to sleep with one very hot girl a month instead of sleeping with 10 girls a month that are average. But hey, to each their own. Anyways, that being said, let's go into the next video. Okay, so not to be the dead horse, I received another video from MLD, and this one again is talking about John Anthony. I'm not an MLG fan, and this is literally the second video of his that I ever watched, but let's see what he has to say in this one.
Decrease your judgment of others and increase the judgment
I like the
of
intro.
yourself.
I like the intro. I like this intro. Nice girls, nice dubstep. I guess I picked a side in the pickup war now. So apparently this video is about Jimel having his girlfriend beat him and throw shit at his face.
You're playing with fire. Then he says, dude, exactly. She hit me 4 times, exactly confirmed in the video. So this text message is confirming what was in the video, or in the, excuse me, in the audio. She grabbed her arms to stop, and then she was looking for marks, told her to stop, and she was like, what are you going to do? And he says again, if she's going to act this way, then you can't be with her for your own safety. Yeah, also, she is broken up like 30 times.
So there apparently John Anthony is telling a student of his that his girlfriend is beating him up. Outside of being super unprofessional and quite clingy, it's interesting to look at. Let's take the person out of it and let's look at this situation objectively. If you are dating a girl and she's throwing tantrums at you all the time and she's beating you up, well, that's not a girl that you want to stay with in the long term. If you're a guy with standards, if you're a guy who knows that he can find a girlfriend that's as hot as this one somewhere else, somebody else that wouldn't beat him up and throw tantrums, well, a guy with standards would leave this situation and dump the girl. There apparently, this is not happening. Throwing tantrum is really a low quality female behavior. A high quality female, when she's feeling a bad emotion, instead of getting all mad and crazy, she's gonna stop and take the time to think about what she's feeling. She's gonna take the time to examine what she's feeling. She will understand, she will process her emotions by herself, and she's going to move on. The sooner you realize that the girl you're dating can't handle her emotions, the easier it's gonna be to leave her. You don't wanna stay long term with such a toxic person who can't deal with life. That just sounds like Stockholm syndrome to me. Like, you are taken hostage by your toxic partner and you're afraid to leave her because you think you're not gonna find someone else and you're attached to her. It really sounds like Stockholm syndrome. I wonder if this MLD guy actually has infills. I would be very, very curious to review his infills and to see him actually talk to girls. Anyways, that's all for today. Honestly, I'm getting quite sick of seeing John Anthony's face in every video that I'm making those days. If you guys have recommendations of other red pill guys or PUA guys that you would like to see me review, throw them my way and I will have a look. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Excuse me, hello. I also feel like it's more real to meet people in real life.
Yeah, I think it's nice.
Do I look Slav to you?
Is this one of the tracksuit? He married.
Really?
He's really an amazing guy, and you should definitely subscribe to his channel.